Like my first live in a while. That's a public live on this slightly quiet YouTube channel. I have plans. There are plans, and this is one of them. And so this is a chance to just ask me any questions. I'm a pretty quiet, shy person who works in the background of most things, and this is me not doing that as much. Now, so the whole point of this is for anyone who is listening live to ask questions and to pick my brain, so to speak. I don't often do these, but I'm testing out something new because, hey, it's fun. So if you are here, let me know, say hi, so I know that you're here and I'm not just talking to myself. I may be just talking to myself, and that's also completely fine. If no one shows up and asks questions, if you want help with anything in your business, including all the techie stuff, if you want to hear about Notion, or if you've watched any of the stuff that I've done in the past, or whether you've seen anything on my podcast or on the podcast that I co-host with Danny Hatcher, you are very welcome to ask any questions. If not, I'm going to show you a little thing that I keep seeing. When I work with clients, I see them talking about podcasting and how much work it takes and how hard it is to get really good quality audio and video, even with a fancy pants mic or even just a normal like microphone that you have built into your Mac. And I thought I would share what I do. Who is that? Nobody. It's nobody. Nobody, Danny. There's nobody here. Nobody here. Yes, it's me, a stranger who never shows up anymore. But yeah, it's me on my own. Look at this. See? I do exist. Hello, Danny. I am not surprised that you came and joined me. But yes, I am here and I'm going to just be available to ask any questions you have based on anything you want answers to. If you are a techie person, not a techie person, a systemy person, not a systemy person, and you have questions you want me to answer to the best of my abilities, I'm available. Otherwise, I'm just going to talk to you about Descript because, quite frankly, I have so many people who come to me and ask questions around, like, podcasting or ways of making things just that little bit easier in your business because there are so many things. Oh, Danny, don't. No, data view. You can't learn data view. It's all simple. It's supposed to be simple, Danny. Why data view? I assume for people who are not live and don't know about, is this Obsidian data view? You're doing Obsidian data view. That is very intriguing. I will be listening in the background while I swear at my screen. Yeah, data view is mean. For those who don't know, in Obsidian there is, it allows you to do really fancy stuff, kind of databasey stuff. Obviously I know so much about that, but yeah, data view is weird. I had a play with data view on my homepage for a while with my Readwise, and it fed through all of the recent Readwise posts in Readwise notes in my Obsidian, and that was cool, but then I just stopped using it because, I don't know, it just felt like I didn't need it anymore. So enjoy that. I wish I could hear the screaming. That would have been fun to hear. But anyway, moving swiftly on, let's start with something that there are some apps that are optional and don't have to be happening. I'm going to ask so many questions. I have so many questions for a game idea. Okay, I'm going to just put that aside and we'll come back to that. There are very few apps that I am just like, you must have, because apps are part of you and an extension of how you work. And they're not necessary for everybody. There are some apps that are optional and some apps that are not. Very rarely do I say with such confidence that you should use an app because, you know, we're all different. We all have different things that we love and do and the way we work. But if you are a podcaster and you hate editing your podcasts, or you hate, you can't ask your live stream to people you do. Yeah, I know, I can't ask. I'm so intrigued though. You are very distracting. Thank you, Danny. If you run a podcast that is a solo show, or even if you do it with other people, but a solo show, I've seen it work really, really well. And you hate the whole process of starting a recording something, and then putting it somewhere else and uploading it and trying to fix all the audio and tweak things. If you really don't enjoy that, then have I got something for you, because it is so much fun. It is so much fun. I'm ignoring you, Danny. So here is the app that I'm talking about today is Descript, and I will probably edit a link in the description. I didn't prepare this because why would I prepare this? I am a professional. I don't need to. I'm going to be sharing Descript, which is a tool that I use to produce my solo podcast. All on my own. I just do it on my own. I come in, I record my podcast from the beginning inside of Descript, and I publish it in from Descript. And I don't have to think so much. I can ignore you, Danny. I really can. I will just close the comments. It's fine. I love it. Oh, Danny, haven't I missed our conversations where you come in and distract me as much as possible? Cheers. When you're trying to produce a solo podcast, there's so many different pieces that you have to use or you can use, whereas I record mine all in one app, and that's Descript. So let me show you Descript before Danny distracts me anymore. So here I am. Look, there's my head in the bottom there. So, oh, I moved it. Look at that. I can move that. I swear I locked that one. Let's just lock that one. There we go. Okay, so this is Descript. Okay, all right. Yeah, I love that, Kim. Descript is great if you have someone to translate the transcription. That is very true. That is very true. And thank you, Kim, as the person who translates the transcription for me. So yeah, Descript is amazing for just producing a podcast quickly. I use it all the time. And one of the features that I really love is the audio, is one of the audio features and audio effects that you have, which is studio sound. Now, it is one of my favorite features because, oh my gosh, I've done music production in my past. I was a music producer and did music for video games and all that lovely stuff. But honestly, it takes so much time, and whenever I was doing my podcast manually in a digital audio workstation, I was bored, and I never really, it just took so much time and distracted me from actually producing and releasing stuff and getting stuff out. So thanks to Descript, I don't have to think about the quality of my audio. I don't have to think about how good it looks or how good it sounds. It is really simple. Now, I have a demo here because I did prepare this one quite a while ago. Look at me. And this is a demo that I recorded on my MacBook. Just my standard, lovely MacBook Air, I think it is, M1 MacBook with the integrated mic, not the one that I've got on top of here. It is really a simple mic. And this is what it sounds like without any editing or any tweaking at all. So this is a demo of me recording with just my MacBook audio. Currently using an M1 MacBook. Nothing special, nothing magical, nothing wonderful. This is without the Descript audio. Now this is the exact same. No, you're not allowed the good fun bit. You're not allowed the good fun bit. Yeah, here's one I made earlier. And so that is just me recording. So what I did here is I literally just pressed this button to record, and it's lovely and simple and easy. I just have to press this button and I can record. I'm not going to do that because I didn't test to see whether it could do this at the same time as live streaming, and I don't want to break anything because, you know, it's my first one in a while and I've forgotten all of the things that I need to remember. So here we are. It's pretty simple. It sounds good. It sounds fine. It's a little bit iffy. It's fine. It works. And you could publish like that, and that's great. But what you have inside of Descript is an amazing effect called Studio Sound. And Studio Sound can be put on from the beginning. And you just have to put it on and let it render and do things. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to let it do that in a minute. But this is what it sounds like. This is the exact same microphone built in just to the MacBook. And now this is the exact same microphone with the Descript audio switched on. Still my MacBook audio, nothing magical, not moved. This is with the Descript audio. And quite frankly, is exceptionally exciting because it sounds really good and it's ready to just automatically publish. And every single podcast that I produce, I just hit one button, and in fact I actually cheat and record directly with Descript audio. Now obviously it's not always going to be perfect, and you can tweak and play with things to make sure that the intensity is correct. I always have the intensity at 100% for my stuff because it sounds good with what I've got. But that is basically why one of the big reasons why I love Descript. And as you can see, on top of that, you have the fact it transcribes. Yeah, Kim's just said, oh, there really is a difference. Yeah, it is a quite alarming difference. And it's an exciting difference on how good it sounds versus how it doesn't. And that's the secret to why my podcasts sound actually good. I recently, for my podcast, there's an episode going out, I think it's actually today. Yes, there's an episode going out today. In fact, I can publish it today, so I will. There's an episode going out today where I actually take the audio from the PKM podcast, which I host with Danny Hatcher, who was distracting me earlier. And the difference there is even good. And it's quite crazy how much you can do with Descript just from a flick of a button. And it really is a flick of a button. So let me show you. In here, you can just click. So I'm on this orange track here, which is just as I showed you before. I literally press this button, add studio file, and it literally applies studio sound to the microphone input. And it will now, as you can see down here, you hopefully can see it is quite small. It says enhancing down at the bottom, and it just enhances that. Now that takes a couple of minutes. Depending on the length, it can take a little bit of time. But once it's done, as it is now, it sounds like this.
So this is a demo of me recording with just my MacBook audio. Currently using an M1 MacBook. Nothing special, nothing magical, nothing wonderful. This is without the Descript audio.
And as you can hear, it's a pretty good difference. And so my suggestion to anyone who's doing podcasts and are tired of like trying to tweak and play with things, give this a go, because it is amazing. And it costs something like, I think it's about $20 a month of some sort. But if that saves you a lot of time, which I can promise you it does, it's amazing what it can do. Now, another wonderful feature that I absolutely love, I'm going to switch to a different project. I'm actually going to switch to the Simplicity Specialist podcast, which is my personal podcast. And I'm going to come in here to the episode that is about to be released. And I'm going to show you another thing that I love about Descript, which I really love. A question, is there an echo for the first couple of words, or is that just me? Yeah, it's just you. It's actually because of the live stream, because my mic is picking up its feedback from the live. I mute it, but not quick enough. But normally there is absolutely no feedback whatsoever. It is just because I have my mic. Didn't mute my mic quick enough. So yeah, that's why. There we go. Yeah, there was an echo. Yeah, and that was purely because of the live stream. It could pick it up in my mic because I don't have headphones in. Yes, exactly. Okay, so here we have an episode of my podcast that I have produced, and I record directly in here, and then I clip out different sections to, get things all set up and wonderful and amazing. And as you can see, on the right-hand side, I have two features. I have studio sound, and I also have ducking. So another feature that I love with Descript, in addition to just the default stuff that it comes with, like, it's transcribed almost okay. Okay, it's transcribed the episode of the podcast from my voice directly, and all of this is literally what I say, or almost what I say. It's a little bit hit and miss. The British accent does get a bit missed sometimes. Nother is one of the words that always catch me, and it's once called Danny a very rude word multiple times, and it was great, and I smiled and loved every minute of it. And so another feature that I have here is you can see this little icon, this little microphone voice thing. Icon English. This is actually music. So I have music in the background here. Now, what I also have done is I've put ducking on the track. Now, for those who aren't musical and don't know what that means, it's lowering the volume of the music. So without it, it sounds like this. And I'm going to mute first this time so that there's no feedback, or there shouldn't be.
So, this is going to be a slightly different episode. This is a clip from my other podcast that I co host with Danny Hatcher around personal knowledge management. And in that episode, there's some really interesting stuff around creating a philosophy of practice. Like, how do you do things and why do you believe what you believe? Okay, let me try that again. And you see, this is why I don't mute, because I forget to unmute. So let me try that again, now that I remembered to unmute. Yeah, thank you, Kim. So, what I have here is ducking. I can't even remember what I said now, but it's fine. So I have ducking off, and as you can see, as you probably heard, the audio was a little bit loud, the music in the background kind of a little bit overpowered what I was saying. And now, if I come in here, I can turn it back on. And ducking ducks, it's on this track, and it ducks the music by 20%. It's supposedly 25% amount. And this is what it sounds like. And it is very, very different, or at least I find it very different. There's some really So this is going to be a slightly different episode. This is a clip from my other podcast that I co-host with Danny Hatcher around personal knowledge management. And in that episode, there's some really interesting stuff around creating a philosophy of practice. Like, now, hopefully you can hear that difference on the live stream. It might be quite difficult to hear a difference, but there is a noticeable difference on the amount of volume. Now, if it's not good for you, you can actually reduce the volume so it's even quieter. So this is it down at 11%, and you'll be able to hear even less of the music in the background. Slightly different episode. This is a clip from my other podcast that and you can hear it so much Yeah, exactly. It's very noticeable. I almost don't hear the music. And I love that feature for someone who's done audio management before and ducking and trying to fix the volume and tweaking all the time. It's so frustrating. And at points, if there is ever silence in an episode of your podcast, you can quite literally do that. You can just, it will make the volume of the music go back up again because there is silence in the middle. And I love that. And it makes you seem super cool and organized, and it makes it seem really good when really it is just a button with a little volume slider. And so from here, I can literally publish my podcast directly. I can hit publish, I can hit export, I'll try that again. Publish, export, directly into the platform of your choice. So I use Captivate for my podcast, so I can just click here and it exports both the audio and what's even cooler, it exports the transcript too. So it will automatically find and copy the transcript and share that transcript with the audience. Now, I have on my podcast a little note that says, hey, the transcript's not going to be perfect. It's going to be a little bit wordy. And as Kim said earlier, one of the things it doesn't do well is the punctuation. Now, there is a feature where you can actually tweak the punctuation really easily, which I can never remember the shortcut for. There it is. Where you can capitalize just by holding Q, and it sorts all that out. I pressed Q, that's why it did that. That's pretty cool. So you can hold down Q and you can capitalize and decapitalize, and then I think it's E. Oh, there's another button you can press, and then you can actually remove the bullets and stuff. But I don't often do that because, frankly, it's not necessary. And so that's how I really quickly publish podcast episodes. And
But there is more. There is more. Now, one of the things, another feature that I really love, in case that isn't, and unless I haven't sung its praises enough, one other thing that I really love doing with this is it can create videos too. Now, if I wanted to, I could just have a video podcast if I wanted to, but I don't. I prefer the audio only because it's easier and quicker, and I don't have to put the camera on. But what you can do with this to create little videos is you can create clips. And the clips are really easy to do. You can copy and paste just a section of your podcast and create an entire video clip. So if you've been on my Instagram, you will see some of these clips. And it has the transcription of the podcast already there of what I say. It has a little progress bar which comes up based on how long it takes you to do, and you can have fading out and a whole host of delicious and delightful little transitions which you can put in, all from one app. So let's really quickly create an example. So let's go with this here. So you know where my assumption is. I talk way too much. Let's just take this bit. There. And then what you can do is just right click and you can go clip to new composition. And then it's opened a new composition over here. And then what I can do just to cheat is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to pull in the progress bar. And you can see that in the corner. Pull in the text. And as you can see, it's going to pull in the text. What I see in the business world is people forcing themselves to go into demographics, even though people say, oh, you don't need demographics and psychographics. And I love that. It is so easy to use. It makes life easier and quicker for creating podcast episodes, because now, quite literally, I have created a whole little thing. I've created something that I can easily publish from here. I export it as a video, and then I can publish on my Instagram and my Facebook and all of the other places. You can also do it with YouTube. A couple of my older episodes I did as a test, where you can actually see a full episode of the YouTube channel on the YouTube channel of a podcast episode, and you can change the resolution and the orientation and all the lovely stuff. This graphic is just an image from the background that I've just pasted it in with a little speech bubble made in Canva, nice and quickly, and it just makes life easier. When I say there are certain apps that are just super amazing and can really help, if you are someone who doesn't really enjoy creating podcast episodes and wish they could just talk and then everything just works, Descript. Descript is amazing and it's super helpful. And I have not even gone into all of the other possibilities and opportunities. I've done work in the past where I've just edited someone's old video, where I've brought in that video, and it doesn't have to be recorded in here either. You can fix audio from outside, from other platforms. Let's say, for example, this video, if I wanted to improve the sound of this live stream, I would download this video, I could import it in, and it would automatically transcribe my the text that I'm saying, etc., etc. And it just works, and it's super easy. A great thing here is you also have the ability to have multiple voices. Now, I forgot about this feature. Another great feature that I absolutely adore is this. If you can see here, there is a couple of ums and ahs, and this is something that I am always doing. You can actually just remove filler words, and it will find every filler word that Danny and I, in this example, this was the podcast that I did with Danny and myself, and it's actually separated our names, and it's found who's who. It's found who's me and who's Danny, and it is wonderful and amazing, and I love it. But you can come in here and you can just go through.
Well, I'll let you repeat.
And you can delete.
Need a bit of content.
You can delete all of the filler words, ums and likes and you knows and maybes and this and that. And if you repeat yourself a couple of times, which I do, you can just come in and have them all here and find them super quickly. Another one is being able to remove word gaps of a certain size. If it's something that's longer than a second, you can remove that. So if you're doing YouTube videos, you can just easily do that. It's super simple and super quick to use. And there are some amazing features coming out with Descript for videos as well, which I will include a link in the description where you can sign up and do things with it. So you can try it yourself. And you can find gaps that are longer than a certain amount and then remove them.
We believe.
And that is something
As long as you.
something that I do often is when I'm talking through my podcast episode, it's very much just, I often do some episodes where it's just complete stream of consciousness. And I can use that stream of consciousness and tweak it and reduce the gaps in between. And that makes such a difference. And I absolutely love it. So that is really quickly, like just me geeking out a tiny bit, and by a tiny bit I mean a lot, about Descript and what the potential of what Descript can actually do. I am available for more questions, but it sounds like that there may not be any more. If you want to see more of Descript, let me know. If you have questions on recording or whatever it might be. I once did an entire recorded video for someone's summit, all within Descript, without having to think about it, and I did animated text and fancy nonsense with that as well. It's all possible, all within Descript, without having to think about anything else. I love it. It is one of those apps which I think many people don't already know about, or Descript don't share and make it clear on how good it really is and how practical it is for people who just want to release stuff and get stuff out. You can do a lot of editing and tweaking. There's a lot of things that you can do, but also it is just a great way of getting things done, which in the world right now, isn't it great just to get things done instead of thinking about how to do it and spending a long time in video editing software, Premiere Pro, Audition. I've used loads of them and still could. I've used Final Cut Pro. I've used so many different apps and tools. It is really cool to be able to see what is possible when you just try something new. Trying something new is so much fun. And Descript is one of those tools which I signed up for and has been really, really helpful in improving what I do and improving just getting episodes of podcasts out. Because when I have an idea for a podcast, I not only can just record directly, but if you were really seeing and really noticed, let me just switch back. I even have episodes that I've planned and written notes on. So as you can see here, I've got an episode here I've just written some notes on and some ideas on what I could say. And that's another thing that you can do. There's just so many amazing options that you can have when you have something all in this one app. So this is another episode here, which I've done. And yeah, that is the absolute basics, and I've barely gone into anything here, but just showing you how I find and what I find the most amazingness of Descript is for people who are recording podcasts or want to record podcasts and are getting kind of like stuck in the editing procedure, having to hire an editor but don't have the funds available to hire an editor. This is an option for you to be able to edit yourself and be able to edit your own podcasts and being able to edit your own videos and release them yourself without having to think about it. If you literally just press record and record yourself and then go, oh my gosh, it is so much quicker. And it sounds good and it looks good and it takes very little time. You need to edit, you just highlight a bit of text and press delete. You don't even have to think about it. So that is me talking about Descript. This is the first kind of trial of this. If you have specific questions that you're like, oh, how do I do this? Or how do I do this in my business? Or you want some help as if I was sat right next to you solving a problem that you have, whether it be in a specific tool or just be like, I wonder if you can do this, or I wonder if you can do that. Come and ask. Send me a message and I will be very happy to ask. If you have questions afterwards, feel free to leave them in the comments and I will reply to you. I will answer your questions, and yeah, otherwise I will see you soon. Bye-bye.